Yeah, today we're talking about the D minor chord, and we're going to take a little bit at a time. We've got our old friend, the metronome, at 60 beats per minute, and we start with the D chord. We're just exploring the D chord, the D minor chord, and the D minor is sort of just a quick shift away from the D major chord that we already might know, and that's just switching these first and second fingers around so that we can grab fret number 1 on the high E string, I guess, right? So we have a happy chord and a sad chord, and that sad chord is also employed in our rhythmic exercises. So we're just taking it really easy. Today we're going to talk about the D minor chord, how we can communicate across the neck with it safely and invert it across the neck. But we can start with the open D string and then toggle down to the open A string, so we have 2 alternating bass notes. And I think I want to take a little bit of time here with you, because we can glance over this stuff and just overlook its importance. We're trying to generate a groove here, and if we stick with this enough, we'll solve some problems other than just where in the heck is the D string without looking at it. Where in the heck is the A string without looking at it? And then where is the rest of the guitar string set so that I can strum it without strumming all of the strings, you know? Not that we can't strum all strings, but we put it... an E note. On the bottom of the D minor chord, it just doesn't sound like a D minor chord anymore. It sounds like something else. A lot more difficult to use in a song, right? So we have this beautiful strumming pattern that we've established here, and we can also start working on using this open position D minor as a stepping point, a staging point to reach, you know, a higher capability of right hand prowess. So we have this nice down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And you can mount your pinky on the top of the guitar if you like, or not. It's up to you. I do both probably, but I'm also trying to get my pinky not to be attached to the surface of the guitar, so that way I can move around and strum when I want, and then also navigate into a little channel here, a little inlet. Get up there and get those trout, salmon, whatever is in there. Brook trout's pretty cool. So we could make a combination too of strumming pattern and forward and reverse, alternate picking sequencing. A lot of words there. I'll just play the guitar. So we have, we haven't even introduced the upstroke yet. Let's do that now. So we have down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And it's really challenging to get that upstroke to be as balanced as that downstroke. So I'm holding the pick and letting it sit way out there on the edge of my fingertips. But I also could get a little closer so that just the little nub sticks out. control over the right hand tone production. Is a little bit more dense. Got a little bit of finger involved and, you know, edge of the thumb, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. So what we're going to do now, and I know some of us don't like to do this, but we can easily with this chord get up into fret number 5 with the same quality chord, D minor. Just instead of 2-1, 2-3-1, we're just doing the 3-2-1 on frets 7, 6, and 5. So there's a song there somewhere. The next one is position number 10. And that's, you know, basically the first finger triple stopping the top 3 strings. That's kind of a cool technique, isn't it? So before we get into that, let's take a quick look at the D minor, the relative minor scale in open position. Okay, so we're starting with open D, fret 2 on the D fret, which is E, F, G, A, B flat, C. Oh, no open B string there. Bad guitar neck. Never blame the tool. So we've got open D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, and then D. D minor is a great sound, yeah. While we're there, actually, we may as well, this is a great spot to talk about harmonic minor. This is a natural minor that we're playing. Because it's the related minor of the related major key of F major. We've already done this video, so you can go find the F chord rabbit hole video and really learn how F kind of expands itself across the guitar neck too. If you like, go check that out. But right now, let's take a quick look at, you know, this D minor shape, this D minor scale falls naturally in the key of F major, the parent major scale. Now we have this, instead of being directly related to F now, we're relating itself, we're using that leading tone, or that 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, major 7, which is we're borrowing from the major scale to give it that push, that half step underneath the root note again, so that we really feel like we want to resolve back to D, right? Instead of, you know, the softer resolution of the D minor, or the D natural minor. Not that it's better or worse, it's just different. So the D harmonic minor is right here. D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C. Oh, that's natural minor. C sharp, D, don't forget that. D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C sharp, and then D. it can be really fun just to kind of check out a different tonality, because that one note that's different between those natural and harmonic minor scales completely change everything, completely change melodic potential. So we talked about, the 1, 4, and 5 chord would be really good to know while we're in D minor. So we have the G, the D minor, and then the 4 chord is G minor. Back to D minor, and then the 5 chord is A minor. So we've got D that travels up the neck, and then we come back down, so that we got, we have to practice everything descending as much as we practice it ascending, if not more, because it's harder typically for us to find our way back down. So we've got this nice D minor on the, let's take a look at that same inversion sequence that we just did on the top 3 strings. Let's take a look at the next string grouping down, sort of that George Van Epps style of approach to chord voicing. We're playing 3 notes. We're playing, the D minor is a triad, so we're actually playing 3 notes in each triad. So we don't need any more notes. We could only play 3 and have a complete sounding chord. We have all of the notes represented from D minor right here. A, D, well, it's D, F, and then A, right? But here's the root inversion, D, F, and A, and then F, A, and D here, okay? Now we're doing the same thing, next 3 strings down, F, A, D. Good sound. And then we have the next shape, which is, you could use the first 3 fingers or the last 3 fingers, whichever. It's probably a good idea, if we're asking that question, to learn how to do it both ways. So we've got this 7, 7, 6, which is A, D, F. And if you recall, we were playing F, A, D back here. And then A, D, F, and then up to root inversion with D, F, A. Oh, that's down here, right? So we have to memorize where those shapes are. We can have a ton of fun just hanging out with D and just exploring D. Here's another D. D, F, A here, and then F, A, D, and then A, D, A, D, F. So we're inverting that same 3-string group that we did, only we're on the string group 1 to string group number 3. And then we have this really cool way of approaching D minor. Bottom 3 strings, our final string grouping is A, D, F, and then we move up to D, F, A, and then F, A, D. So you see some of these shapes are similar from across the fretboard, from across the board. Some of the shapes are similar. So we have explored the D chord, the D relative minor so far, the D harmonic minor so far. We went through the 1 minor, 4 minor, and then 5 minor in the key of D minor. In every key, we try to learn the 1, 4, and 5 chords in every key that we learn, at least. That way we have the 3 primary not colors, but the 3 primary chords of each key understood and under the fingertips. So that's another exercise to just do and work toward, work to that achievement. let's take a quick look at what happens when we play that minor, that D minor on the 4 middle strings. We have that A minor that we learned in another one of our chord rabbit holes, right? But if we play, yeah, there's an A minor chord rabbit hole video. I think we did that one just recently. So we have that A minor that we would we normally play it with the first 3 fingers, but why don't we go ahead and play it with the last 3 fingers here? And when we do that, when I move those 3 fingers up each 1 fret, then I must move that open string, because I was using the open string, in parallel with it. And now we have a minor, an A minor bar chord shape, right? Which when we move it around, we have an A minor, you know, a B flat minor, a B minor, a C minor, a C sharp minor, and finally a D minor. Now the D minor is the same thing as our open position companion. But right here we can play all of those notes plus add the open high E, which is also a very nice sound on a minor chord. Cool to be able to hammer that note from the 5, you know, which we would play in a, you know, sort of an alternating bass line in a country sort of strum pattern. We would just kind of be able to hammer onto that now. Or we could still just kind of use the first finger, pull it from its responsibility on fret 1, fret 5 on the A string, and just deliver it down to fret 5 on the low E string. And that still gives us that same alternating strum pattern. But now, we have a little bit more latitude maybe. Just moving a bass line around. That's it. The rest of this, the rest of the chords just kind of staying there. So we have that, also that minor 9, sort of like Andy Summers' sort of Sting version of minor 9. You know, it's something that we learn early on. It's a good one to know because we already did the, you know, we've got the minor chord with the added 9. That's a tough one. I almost think I prefer this right here. You know, we've got root 5, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 9, or 8, 9, right? So we've got this nice added 9 with the right next to that flatted 3. So we've got that half step again where those 2 notes are battling, but they sound great when in the context of the entire chord, right? So there's that. Another thing that we could also use, sort of like, since we're adding fingers, we can also subtract fingers, as you might imagine. So we've got that 4th finger on fret 7 on the G string. We could reach up to fret number 9, or just take that 4th finger off altogether. And you know, heck, we could just take that open G string and open that right up and keep that open high E string in there. And we have a nice D minor with an added 9, added 4, all kinds of notes in this some gun, right? So we've got this really, what are we doing with that? Well, if you're into finger picking, here's what we could do with that. could create little patterns just that have these sort of repeating phrases. So it depends on what you want to do. Finger picking typically works, with forward roll. We've got this 1, thumb, index, middle, and a ring, and thumb, index, middle, and ring, and thumb, index, middle, and ring, and then thumb, index, middle, and ring, and we slowly get better at that. That's a whole other, ballpark. It's an entirely separate game. So if you ever wanted to explore this with us here on the channel, we could really get, dive down deep into like finger picking opportunities. And that's just a forward roll. What if I just did a forward roll between two string groups? So that's a lot. That's a lot to do with D minor. There's not much more that we can. Well, there's a whole lot more we could do. But I think what we're going to do now is, let's just do a quick inventory of what we've actually covered. We've covered a D minor. We've covered a D, let's see, the D minor scale, the relative minor scale, and then we start and stop on the root note. And then we started with introducing, the D harmonic minor. It's harmonic because we harmonically want to push up to the root note. It really gives us access to the perfect, authentic cadence. Really is where we didn't have that before. That's a concept for another video or some self-study. But we had the harmonic minor, which was, instead of the flatted 7, we use the major 7. So there's a lot happening here in D minor, as you can see. And I hope that you enjoyed watching this and playing along with this video today. And if you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to let us know. We monitor the comments. I encourage you to keep practicing, build a system where you practice and visit the guitar, once a day if you can. 5, 10, 15 minutes is great. Let's not beat ourselves up if we don't get to it, but just, remind ourselves that this has definitely got to be added into the practice of our daily routine. We have to become guitar practitioners. And why, you ask? I have my own reasons why. If you wanted to share with me why you wanted to become, or you feel like it's a good idea to become and maintain the status of guitar practitioner, let us know in the comments. I'm going to start with one. I think it's beneficial to personal and individual health. I think that's a good place to start. And it's kind of fun to play on a stage. I guess I'll give you 2. But without further ado, we'll get going for today, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again next time. And until then, happy picking.